what's up everyone? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Mem Aleph of Masechta Ayruvin. The first Amud of Daf Mem Aleph talks about Tisha B'Av that falls out on a Friday. Do you fast all the way up to Shabbos, or maybe a little bit before Shabbos you break your fast just so that you shouldn't go into Shabbos all famished? That is the question that's really the concern of the first Amud of Daf Mem Aleph. And then on Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis, we conclude the third parak of Masechta Ayruvin, and we begin the fourth parak of Masechta Ayruvin, which talks about somebody who finds himself outside of the Tchum Shabbos. What does he do? Can he walk back into the Tchum Shabbos? Is he kind of stuck? So it's going to depend a little bit. Alright, let us begin on Daf Mem Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Ve'amar Rabba, and said Rava, Ki avinan be Rav Huna, when we were by the Besmedrash of Rav Huna in Surah Mistama, Ibayalan, we asked the Kasha, Bar be Rav the Yosef b'saynisa b'mayli shabsa ma'ula ashlume. So if you have a fellow who is fasting on Erev Shabbos, so does he continue his fast all the way up to Shabbos and go into Shabbos when he's hungry? Or does he, a little bit before Shabbos, eat a little bit just so that he won't go into Shabbos famished? Lo have biyade, and Rav Huna did not know the answer to Rabba's question. Asar lekame to Rav Yehuda, and now it says Rabba that he came before Rav Yehuda in Pumbedisa, v'lo have biyade, and Rav Yehuda also did not know the answer to this question. Amar, so the girsa here is Rava, but there's a girsa change. There are those who change the text to be Rabba. So Amar Rabba, right, in which case he's like basically answering his own question. Nachzaye Anon, he says, look, alright, well if I can't get an answer from Rav Huna or Rav Yehuda, I'm just gonna have to research this myself. And he says, okay, let's see. Well, Ditana, we have a brisa that says, Tisha B'Av shechalios b'Shabbos, that when Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos itself, v'chein Erev Tisha B'Av shechalios b'Shabbos, and similarly, if Erev Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos, which means that Tisha B'Av is Sunday, Ochel v'shose kol tzorko, he can eat as much as he wants on Shabbos, umayla al shulchano afilu kesudas shlomo b'shaito, and he can have on his table even like the feast, like the banquets of Shlomo when he was at the top of the world. Okay, fine. So that's when Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos or on Sunday. You can mamish eat as much as you want on Shabbos. Chalios Tisha B'Av be'erev Shabbos. Now, what happens in the situation that we are looking for, which is when Tisha B'Av falls out on Friday? Mevi'in lo kibeitza ve'ochel. So, in that case, we bring him something to eat, right? Tisha B'Av falls out on Friday, which means that if he fasts the entire day, he will go into Shabbos famished. So we bring him something to eat. So we bring him an egg's worth, so he can eat something, so that he shouldn't have to go into Shabbos famished, afflicted. Okay, so we have a brisa here that seems to be saying that when there's a fast day on Friday, you would eat something before Shabbos. You would not fast the entire day. Vitanya, we learn in a brisa. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, said Rabbi Yehuda, Pam achas hayinu yoshvin lefnei Rabbi Akiva, that one time we were sitting before Rabbi Akiva, v'Tisha B'Av shechalios be'erev Shabbos haya, and it was a year where basically it was Erev Shabbos and it was also Tisha B'Av. Ve'viu lo beitzim gulgeles, and they brought for Rabbi Akiva a soft-boiled egg. V'gama below melach, and he ate it up without any salt. And it wasn't because he was like, famished for it and mamish, starving. Ela laharis l'talmidim halacha. Rather, the reason why he ate this egg without salt was to teach his students the halacha, which is that when you have a fast day on a Friday, so you do not fast the entire day, rather you eat something before Shabbos so you don't go into Shabbos when you are famished. Now, Rabbi Yossi Omer, says Rabbi Yossi Mesane Umashlim. Rabbi Yossi, however, says that when there's a fast day on Friday, you mamish fast the entire day going into Shabbos. Okay, fine. So far we've seen one brisa which says that you would eat something before Shabbos begins. Then we saw that Rabbi Akiva as well would eat something before Shabbos begins. But Rabbi Yossi is saying that actually you would fast the entire day on Friday. Okay. Omer len Rabbi Yossi. Now Rabbi Yossi said to his fellow, to the other, his contemporaries, fine. What did he say to them? Hi'atem modem li, don't you admit to me that b'Tisha B'Av shechalios be'echad b'Shabbos, that when you have Tisha B'Av that falls out on Sunday, okay, shemafsik mi ba'od yom, that you will stop eating on Shabbos before Shabbos ends, right? So Tisha B'Av is on Sunday. So on Shabbos, you're going to stop eating a little bit before Shabbos ends. Amru Aval, they said yes, that's correct, right? We agree with that. If Tisha B'Av falls out on Sunday, so you'll stop eating a little bit before Shabbos ends. So Yossi said to them, Mali likanes ba kshu me'una. Mali lotzes mimena kshu me'una. So he said, so you see, there you have it. When Tisha B'Av is on Sunday, you fellows just said that he will stop eating before Shabbos ends, which means that when Shabbos goes out, he's going to be in an uncomfortable state because he can no longer eat. So if when Shabbos ends, we don't have a problem with him being in an uncomfortable state, well, we should say the same thing when Shabbos begins. So what? That he's going to be very hungry. He'll still fast the entire day, and so what? So he'll be a little bit hungry when Shabbos starts. So Amrlo, they said to him, but come on, that's very different. Im Amr lotzeis mimena, shari'achav v'shasu kol hayom kula. They said, these are very different cases, right? When Tisha B'Av is on Sunday, and we say that he should stop eating before the end of Shabbos, well, he's been eating the entire day. It's not like when Shabbos ends, he's going to be starving and uncomfortable. He's been eating the entire day. So he's not really going to be very uncomfortable when Shabbos ends. However, when he didn't eat the entire day Friday, his mom is going to come into Shabbos and be extremely uncomfortable and very, very hungry. So, right, so Im Amar Latzes Mimena Shari Achav V'Shasa Kol Hayom Kulo Tomar Likanes Ba. You're going to try to make an argument to compare that to when Shabbos begins, Kishu Me'una Shelo Achal V'Shasa Kol Hayom Kulo, that you're comparing that to when Shabbos begins, when he was fasting the whole day and he didn't eat anything the entire day and he's really in a very uncomfortable and unpleasant position. Those are totally different. And therefore, the rabbis maintain their position that you would eat something before Shabbos begins, so you don't go into Shabbos being very uncomfortable. And Rabbi Yossi, however, says that you can fast the entire day Friday, even though that means that when Shabbos begins, you will be very, very hungry. V'amar Ula, halacha Rabbi Yossi. And Ula said that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that you can fast the entire day on Friday when, by going, even though it means that you're going to begin Shabbos when you're very hungry. But now the Gemara asks, we have Dinan Rabbi Yossi? But do we really do like Rabbi Yossi? Right? Ula just said that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that you can fast the entire day on Friday. But V'aminu, we have a contradiction. In Gozun Tainis Ala Tzibur, we do not decree a fast day on the congregation. Rosh Chodashim, when it's Rosh Chodesh, B'Chanukah, Purim. We also don't decree a fast day if it is Chanukah or Purim. V'Mischila and Mafsikin. Now, if they began, then they don't interrupt. And Rashi says what this means is that if there was a situation where, for whatever reason, they decided they were going to fast for 20 days in a row or 30 days in a row, So, and then it turns out that, Purim is in the middle. So they don't interrupt it, and if they said they were going to fast for 20 days, so they're going to continue fasting even on Purim. Div Rabbi Gamliel. That is the opinion of Rabban Gamliel. Amar Rabbi Meir. Says Rabbi Meir. Af al pi she'amar Rabban Gamliel ein mafsikin. That now, even though Rabban Gamliel just said that you would not interrupt your chain of fast days, even if like Purim or Hanukkah or Rosh Chodesh fell out in the middle. However, moda hayeshem mashlimin. However, you wouldn't fast the entire day, right? So if you said you were going to fast for like a month straight, and then Purim falls out in the middle, so Rabbi Gamliel says that, okay, you're not going to interrupt your chain of fasts, and you're going to fast even on Purim. However, says Rabbi Meir, you wouldn't finish the entire day. You wouldn't fast the entire day. You would stop eating, you would stop fasting at some point, and you would eat something. And similarly, on Tisha B'Av, that falls out on Friday, that you would not fast the entire day, you would eat something before Shabbos begins. Vitanya, and we learn in a Brayso that after Rabban Gamliel died, Nichnas Rabbi Yoshua lahafer es divarav. So Rabbi Yoshua wanted to undo Rabbi Gamliel's psak. Rabbi Gamliel said that when Tisha B'Av falls out on Friday, you would eat something before Shabbos. After Rabbi Gamliel died, Rabbi Yoshua wanted to undo that and say, similar to what Rabbi Yossi said, even though Rabbi Yossi was a later generation, but similar to what we saw that Rabbi Yossi said, which is that you can fast the entire day on Friday. Now it's very interesting because there are a bunch of parallels here to the story with Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua in Masechta Brachos, when Rabbi Gamliel, right, the day that they removed Rabbi Gamliel from being the Nasi because he embarrassed Rabbi Yoshua. So there's like certain similarities here to that story. And also it's interesting to see, I don't know, maybe you can almost like argue that there was a certain hostility that always remained between Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua, that when Rabbi Gamliel died, Rabbi Yoshua immediately jumped to undo his psak. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. But there are certain parallels here. And for example, so Amud Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri al Raglav. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri stood up on his legs. That's the same lashon that they have over there in the Gemara in Brachos. I think Rabbi Gamliel says Yoshua Amor al Raglecha. I think that's what he says. Anyways, so Rabbi Yoshua wanted to undo Rabbi Gamliel's psak, and Rabbi Yoshua wanted to then make the halacha that when you have a fast day on a Friday, you can fast the entire day. Now, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri got up and he said, Ve'amar, and he said, Chazi ana devasaresha gufa azil. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says, look, the body goes after the head. We must go like our earlier generations. Kol yamav Rabbi Gamliel kavainu halacha kimoso. When Rabbi Gamliel was alive, we established the halacha like him. Achshav atam vakish levatel devarav. And now you, Rabbi Yoshua, you want to be mevatel what he said, you want to undo what he said. Yoshua ein shomin lach shekvar nikba halacha. And he says, Rabbi Gamliel. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri then continues and he says, Yoshua, we will not listen to you because the halacha is already like Rabbi Gamliel, that you would eat something before Shabbos when there's a fast day on Friday. And there was nobody who stood up against Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, which means it sounds like the halacha during Rabbi Gamliel's lifetime was that you would eat something before Shabbos, and it sounded like even after he died they tried to undo that but did not succeed, right? Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says we're going to continue to pass like Rabbi Gamliel, and nobody seemed to contest that. So how could Ula say that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that you can fast the entire day on Friday, if apparently the halacha is like Rabbi Gamliel, that you would eat something before Shabbos? So the Gemara answers, B'dorosh Rabbi Gamliel, Avud Rabbi Gamliel, B'dorosh Rabbi Yossi, Avud Rabbi Yossi. That in the generation of Rabbi Gamliel, they paskin like Rabbi Gamliel, that you would eat something before Shabbos. However, already by the time of Rabbi Yossi, the psak halacha had changed and the accepted halacha was like what Rabbi Yossi was saying, which is that you would fast the entire day on Friday. Okay, fine. Now the Gemara asks, Uvdor Rabban Gamliel, Rabban Gamliel. But the Gemara asks, even in the generation of Rabban Gamliel, did they do like Rabban Gamliel's psak to eat something before Shabbos? Ve'atanya. We learn in a brisa. Omer Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok, says Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok, Ani mibnei Sanav shel Binyamin. He says, look, I am from the family of Sanav shel Binyamin. Now, what was unique about the family of Sanav shel Binyamin was that they would donate wood to the Beis HaMikdash. There were certain families that donated wood to the Beis HaMikdash for use on the Mizbeach. And when these families would bring their wood every year, so they would make a special Yom Tiv, special holy day. Now, the Yom Tiv day for the family of Sanav ben Binyamin was the 10th day of Av, the day following Tisha B'Av. And Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok said, look, I'm from the family of Sanav shel Binyamin. The day, our Yom Tiv was always the 10th day of Av, the day after Tisha B'Av. Pam achas chol Tisha B'Av lios b'Shabbos. And Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok said, one time it happened that Tisha B'Av fell out on Shabbos. V'dachinu la'achar Shabbos. And we pushed off Tisha B'Av so that it would be on Sunday. Now, Sunday would be the 10th of Av. The 10th of Av was his family's holiday. V'es'aninu bo v'lo ishlamnu. And what we did was, we fasted on Sunday because they pushed off, Tisha B'Av was pushed off to be on Sunday, so we fasted on Sunday. However, v'lo ishlamnu mipnei sheyom tov shelanu haya. But we didn't complete the fast because it was our Yom Tiv. So what do we see? So time of the Yom Tiv, ha'erev Yom Tiv mashlimin. So what do we see? That Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok is saying that Davka, because Tisha B'Av fell out on the day, it was pushed off so that it was on the day of their holiday, that is why they didn't complete the fast. But what about every other year when Tisha B'Av falls out the day before their special Yom Tiv, i.e., Tisha B'Av, there's a fast day on Erev Yom Tiv, essentially for them, and it sounds like they would fast the entire day, right? The only reason they didn't fast the entire day was in this particular year was because Tisha B'Av, the fast, was pushed off to be the next day, mamash on their Yom Tiv, so they didn't fast the entire day. However, if that wouldn't have been the case, right? If Tisha B'Av would not have fallen out on Shabbos, and Tisha B'Av would have been some weekday, so then they would have fasted the entire day Tisha B'Av, even though it was Erev Yom Tiv. So we see that so Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok, as Rashi points out, lived in the generation of Rabban Gamliel, and we see that he was fasting the entire day on Erev Yom Tiv. So that seems not like the opinion of Rabban Gamliel that you would eat something before, Shabbos or Yom Tiv. Amar Ravina, shiny Yom Tiv shel devreim. So Ravina says, one second. We're not talking about like Shabbos over here. We're talking about a commemoration, I don't know what the right word is, I don't think observation is the right word, but okay. So some kind of thing that like this one family would do every single year. It's very different than like Shabbos or Yom Tiv, right? And therefore, so Amar Ravina, Shani Yom Tiv Shel Devrem, the fact that they would fast all day, the day before their special Yom Tiv, is not such a big deal. Mitoch Shem Sa'anin Bo Shos Mashlivim Bo Aravios, right? Meaning, Rabbi Elazar ben Tzadok even said that mamash on their Yom Tiv itself, they would even fast. They just wouldn't complete the fast. So clearly, this is not like a Yom Tiv that's on the same level of like Shabbos, right? If Tisha B'Av falls on Shabbos, they would mamash push it off. Yeah, when Tisha B'Av falls out on their family's Yom Tiv, so they would nonetheless fast. They just wouldn't finish it. So then certainly, the day before this holiday of theirs, if Tisha B'Av fell out the day before, which it would every year, they would fast the entire day. Shabbos, however, when it comes to Shabbos, right? But when it comes to Shabbos, you don't fast on Shabbos at all. and therefore because you don't fast on Shabbos at all, you also wouldn't fast the entire day on Erev Shabbos, and you could say that the halacha during Rabbi Gamliel's generation was like Rabbi Gamliel, that they would eat something before Shabbos begins. Amr of Yosef, said of Yosef, lo shmieli ha shmaita. Says of Yosef, I never heard this. I never heard that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that right. I never heard that which Ula said, that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that we can fast an entire day on Erev Shabbos. Right, Amr of Yosef, lo shmieli ashmaita. I never heard this. Amr le Abai. So Abai says to Yosef, Ata amart ni'alon, v'ha amart ni'alon. So Abai says to Yosef, right, he says, you certainly did teach this, and you said it on the following. And as Rashi points out, Rav Yosef, when he got older, he forgot much of his learning, and Abai would remind him of certain of his teachings. So Rav Yosef says that he had never heard of this halacha of Ula's, that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that you can fast an entire day on Friday. So says Abai, yes, you have heard of it, and you even taught us about it. You taught us on the following: Ein gozrin tainis ala tzibur rosh chodashim v'chulei. Right, the brisa that we saw earlier, that we do not make a tainis on the tzibur, on Rosh Chodesh, and on Purim, and on Chanukah, and we said also even on Erev Shabbos. Right, and we said that Rabbi Gamliel's opinion was that, and if you did fast on those days, you would not complete it. So the Amar Talah, and you told us, Rav Yosef, Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda said the name of Rav. Zod divrei Rabbi Meir she'amar mishum Rabbi Gamliel, that this is just the opinion of Rabbi Meir, who is explaining Rabbi Gamliel's opinion, which is that you would not fast the entire day, meaning you would fast, but you wouldn't complete it. You would eat something before the end of the day. Aval Chachamim omrim, the Chachamim say, Misane umashlim, that you would fast and complete it. And my love, Akulu, and Mistama, Rav Yehuda Amar Rav is referring to all of these things, right? That, right, by Purim, by Chanukah, and also on Tisha B'Av that falls on an Erev Shabbos. In all of these cases, you would fast, but you would not fast for the entire day. You would eat something before. No, so Rabbi Gamliel is saying that right there you would eat something before Shabbos, but the Chacham disagree and say that you would fast the entire day. So Rav Yosef said that he had never heard this halacha of Ula's, that the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, that you would fast the entire day on Friday. To which Abai says, what do you mean? But Rav Yosef, you quoted us in the name of Rav, right, Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav, that it's only the opinion of Rabbi Gamliel, who says that you would eat something before Shabbos. However, the Chacham disagree and say that you can fast an entire day. So clearly, Rav Yosef, you do know of this. And Mistama, it's talking about not just Purim and Chanukah, but also Erev Shabbos. So the Gemara answers, Lo, Chanukah, Purim, no. Rav Yehuda Amar Rav was saying, only referring to Chanukah and Purim, and saying that the Chacham would say that you can fast the entire day. But by Erev Shabbos, they weren't talking about that. Hachinami Mistav, it also makes sense to say that Rav Yehuda Amar Rav was not talking about Erev Shabbos, because the Sakadaite Chakulu, because if it enters your mind to say that Rav Yehuda Amar Rav was referring to not just Purim and Chanukah, but also to Erev Shabbos, to say that you would fast an entire day on Erev Shabbos, well, Haba Mine Rabba Mi Rav Yehuda V'lo Pashat Le. After all, the Gemara started off today with the fact that we're saying that Rabbah asked Rav Yehuda that when there's a fast day on Erev Shabbos, do you fast the entire day? And he didn't know. V'lo Pashle, he didn't know the answer. So, meaning, if Rav Yosef is quoting Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav as saying that even on a fast day that falls out on Friday, you would fast an entire day. Well then, how come he didn't tell that to Rabbah when Rabbah asked him what you do when a fast day falls out on Friday? So, but then the Gemara says, yeah, but 1 second, that's not a good proof, because according to you, Hadudarish Mar Zutra Mishmed Rav Huna, that which Mar Zutra said the name of Rav Huna, halacha misana umashlim, that the halacha is that you fast that you fast the entire day on Friday. Rabbah had asked Rav Huna as well as Rav Yehuda, and neither one of them knew the answer to this question of do you fast the entire day on Friday? So Ella hamikami deshama v'alavasu deshama. Rather, what must it be? It must be that at the time that Rabbah asked Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda about can you fast an entire day on Friday, they didn't know the answer yet at the time. They hadn't yet heard it from Rav. However, after they heard it from Rav, so then they knew the answer, and therefore, right? So rather, so just like must be that since Mar Zutra is saying in the name of Rav Huna that you fast an entire day, so it must have been that Mar Zutra was saying in the name of Rav Huna after Rav Huna had heard from it from Rav. So achanami mikami deshama alavasu deshama. So here also by Rav Yehuda, when Rabbah asked him and he didn't know the answer, it was before he heard it from Rav. However, when Rav Yehuda was saying in the name of Rav that you fast an entire day on Friday, so then it was after he heard it from Rav. Darish Mar Zutra Mishmed Rav Huna halacha misalanu mashlimin. So it says Mar Zutra in the name of Rav Huna that the halacha is that you fast the entire day on Friday. Okay, fine. Hajan alach bakol ma'arvin. Alright, well, we just completed the third parak of Masechta Ayruvin. Moving on to the fourth parak. Mishotzi'u nachrim. So, a fellow who was taken out of the Tchum Shabbos by Gentiles, or Rachra, or he went a shtickle meshuga, and he found himself outside of the Tchum Shabbos. Eino eladalad amis. So, well, he's outside of the Tchum Shabbos now, so he can't walk more than 4 amis in any direction. Hechziru kililo yatsa. If the Gentiles, or if, somehow while he was still going nuts, he made his way back into the Tchum Shabbos, well then it's as if he never left. If the Gentiles took him to some other city, Nisanu Badir, or they put him in some kind of a pen, or Bisar, or some kind of a jail. So basically they took him out of his Tchum Shabbos, but then they put him into some kind of enclosed area. So Gamliel, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah omim mahalech es kula. So Gamliel and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah say that he can walk as far as he wants in this enclosed area. Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Akiva omim ein lo eladal amas. Whereas Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Akiva say that even in this new area that's completely enclosed, since it's beyond this Tchum Shabbos, he cannot walk any more than 4 amas. Ma'aseh shebo mi Palandarsin. So there was a story where they were coming from Palandarsin, v'fligas vinasam bayam, and in order to travel from there, the boat had to go out in the middle of the sea, and it was Shabbos, and they're out in the middle of the sea, certainly outside of their Tchum Shabbos. Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, holchu eskula. So Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah walked around on the boat because it's an enclosed area. The entire area is considered like 4 amas, so they can walk, wherever they want on the boat. Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Akiva lo zazu midalad amas shosu lachmer alatzman. Whereas Rabbi Yoshua and Rabbi Akiva, they did not venture out of their 4 amas area because they wanted to be strict on themselves. Okay. One time it turned out that they were on a boat and they didn't manage to get to the dock before it got dark. Amrlo the Rabbi Gamliel, and they said to Rabbi Gamliel, Ma'anu leiret. They said to him, hey, can we get off of the boat? Amrlo, and he said to them, Mutarim atem, yes, you can get off the boat. Shekvar yisi mistakel vayinu b'soch atchum ad shelo chashecha. Rabbi Gamliel says, look, I was paying attention and we were already within the Tchum Shabbos by the time it got dark, and therefore you fellows can get off of the boat. Alright, very nice. Tana Rabbanan, the Rabbi's taught, says the Gemara, there are three things that make a person pass from his own das, his own knowledge, and the knowledge of his creator, of his owner. Okay? Ayruvin, and these are the three things. Okay? Idol worshippers, and I guess like demonic, crazy, being possessed kind of things. V'diktuke anius, and I guess being poor. Alright? What's the difference if these things take you away from your owner or whatever? So the nafkamina is that if somebody has these things, you can pray that they should go away. Alright? There are three people who do not see hell. Ayruvin, and these are the three people. Diktuke anius, people who are poor. V'choli me'ayin, people who have intestinal disease. V'arashus, and people who owe a lot of money to people. So they live very difficult lives, and therefore it will be like a kapara in this life, and they won't have to go to hell at all. Okay? Those who say, even somebody who has a evil woman, I guess an evil wife, somebody who has a difficult time with his wife, so he won't go to hell. V'idach, now according to the Tanakama, who excluded the Ishara mitzvah l'garsha. Well, the Tanakama says, look, if you have a wife that you don't get along with, well, you should divorce her. So therefore, it's not really an issue, because you shouldn't be married anyways. V'idach, but according to the Mandamar who includes the Ishara, he says, well, zimin d'chsubas amruba. Sometimes it's too expensive to divorce her. Maybe her ksuba is too much money, so therefore he ends up keeping her around, but it's still not a peaceful situation. Inami, or else Isle Banamina, or maybe they have children together and it's not so pashut to just get a divorce. Philomatzi Megarish, they can't divorce her. Okay, so the nafkamina. No, so all of these things, what's the nafkamina? Who cares that they're not going to go to hell? Well, no, tachlis, what does that mean for us? So the kabula me'ahava, what it means is to accept these difficult predicaments that are so difficult that you can be assured you won't go to hell because you've already experienced hell in this life. So what's the nafkamina? The nafkamina is to accept them out of love. Okay? Shlosha Mason Kshen Misaprin. There are three people who die while they're in the middle of talking suddenly. Veiluhen. Here are the three people. Choli Me'ayin, people with intestinal diseases. V'chaya, somebody who has just given birth. V'hadrokan, somebody who has this hadrokan throat disease. L'may nafkamina. L'mashmushe b'uzabdasa. The nafkamina is to prepare for them shrouds. Okay, I guess if you have these people that can die any minute, so keep these shrouds at hand. Amr of Nachman, Amr Shmuel. It says of Nachman, in the name of his teacher Shmuel, Yotza ladas eino ela arba amis. If a person leaves the Tchum Shabbos intentionally, well, then he is not able to walk any more than 4 amos in any direction. Pshita, that's obvious. Hashta mishotziu nachrim eino ela dalad amis. Well, if somebody was taken out of the Tchum Shabbos by Gentiles against his will, he's still unable to walk any more than 4 amos in any direction. Yotza ladas mibaya. Well, if he left the Tchum Shabbos on his own, out of his own volition, well then certainly he shouldn't be allowed to walk more than 4 amos. So ela ema, rather I'll say, chazor ladas eno ela dalad amos. No, rather what I'll say, there Rav Nachman saying in the name of Shmuel is that, so if the Gentiles took him out of the Tchum Shabbos, but he went back into the Tchum Shabbos on his own, well then he's not allowed to walk any more than 4 Amas, even though he's now within the Tchum Shabbos, because he wasn't supposed to come back on his own. He was just supposed to stand around. But Hanami Tanina. But still, that's also in our Mishnah. That if the Gentiles bring him back into the Tchum Shabbos, it's as if he never left the Tchum Shabbos. So the Gemara says, no, the implication being, that if they brought him back into the Tchum Shabbos, then it's as if he never left. But if the Gentiles took him out of the Tchum Shabbos, and then he on his own went back into the Tchum Shabbos, well, he's not going to be able to walk more than 4 Amas. So what is Rav Nachman saying in the name of Shmuel? Right? Obviously, if somebody leaves on his own, he can't walk more than 4 Amas. And obviously, if he comes back on his own, he can't walk more than 4 Amas. Okay, so say that what Rav Nachman is saying in the name of Shmuel is that if a person left on his own, but then the Gentiles brought him back into the Tchum Shabbos, can he walk more than 4 Amas? And Rav Nachman is saying in the name of Shmuel that he cannot. But the Gemara says, but still, Hanami Tanina, you can also learn that from our Mishnah. Hotzi'u ve'achziru. No, our Mishnah says that in what case is it as if you never left and that you can walk more than Dalet Amas? If the Gentiles took him out and the Gentiles brought him back. Ki'ilu lo yatsa. Then it's as if he never left. Hotzi'u ve'achziru hu dechilu lo yatsa. Aval yatsa ladas lo. That only when the Gentiles take him out and the Gentiles bring him back, that is when it's like he never left. But if he left on his own, so then even if the Gentiles bring him back, he's not going to be able to walk more than Dalet Amos. So the Gemara says, actually, in this case, that is what Rav Nachman is teaching us the name of Shmuel. That in this case, he would not be allowed to walk more than Dalet Amos. When he left on his own and the Gentiles brought him back into the Tchum Shabbos. Because Ma'u Tema, I may have thought to say that Stadin Katani, that the Mishnah is teaching two separate things, which is Mishutzi'u Nachrim, that somebody who the Gentiles took him out of the Tchum Shabbos, V'chazur Ladas, and then he went back on his own. Eino Ela Dalet Amos, so he can't walk more than 4 Amos. He's stuck because he wasn't supposed to walk back on his own. Aval, but I might say that Yotzo Ladas V'chziru Nachrim, that if he left the Tchum Shabbos intentionally, and then the Nachrim, the Gentiles brought him back into the Tchum Shabbos, Kilu Lo Yotzo, I might think it's as if he never left. Kamash Malan, what Rav Nachman is teaching us in the name of Shmuel is that no, you have to read them together. That somebody who was taken out of the Tchum Shabbos by Gentiles, as well as that same person was then returned back to the Tchum Shabbos by the same Gentiles, or by the Gentiles, so then it's as if he never left. However, if any part of it was his own volition, so then he will not be able to walk more than Dalet Amos. Bomine me Rabba, that's the kasha from Rabba. Hu tzach l'nakav of Mao. What if the fellow needs to go to the bathroom? So he somehow ended up outside of the Tchum Shabbos. Maybe the non-Jews brought him out of the Tchum Shabbos and then left him there, and he can't walk more than 4 Amos now, right? He can't walk more than 4 Amos, but he's gotta use the bathroom. So what does he do? So Rabba answered, so Amrloim, Gadol kavod abrius shedoches losaisa shebatorah. So as we've seen a few times, that kavod abrios, human dignity, is so great that it even pushes off a lo ta'aseh shebatorah. The lo ta'aseh that we're talking about is lo sasu min hadavar shegidu l'chayam l'smol. Right, that is that is where the Torah says that we have to listen to the rabbis, and so the rabbis said, made the halach of Tchum Shabbos, assuming that it's midrabanan. And we are not allowed to violate that, because that, violating what the rabbis say would be violating the mitzvah d'oraisa of lo tasur min hadavar shegidu l'chayam l'smol. However, the Chachamim, when they made their decrees, they also inherently made a stipulation that if it involves kavod abrios, human dignity, then their decree will be waived. And here, we say that we don't want you walking more than Dalet Amos outside of the Tchum Shabbos. However, if you have to use the bathroom, you're allowed to use the bathroom and go somewhere to use the bathroom. Amri Na'ardai ipikeachu ayal l'tchuma v'cheven da'al. Says Na'ardai that now if this fellow is clever, so once he's already allowed to leave his dalat amas to use the bathroom, well, he may as well decide that he needs to use the bathroom inside the city. And once he's inside the city, so then he, once he's back inside the tchum, well, he's in the tchum legally because he went there to use the bathroom, and now he can stay there. He doesn't have to go back to his dalat. He doesn't have to not, be stuck in dalat amas anymore. Okay, well, that was Daf Mem Aleph of Masechta Ayruvin. So the first Amud really was devoted to the question of what happens when Tisha B'Av falls out on a Friday. So the question is, are you able to fast the entire day, or should you break your fast on something before Shabbos begins so that you're not going into Shabbos famished? So Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Akiva's opinion was eat something before Shabbos, whereas Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Yoshua, their opinion was fast the entire day. Okay, then we completed the third parak of Masechta Ayruvin. We began the fourth parak, which was really about somebody who finds himself outside of the tchum on Shabbos, and we say if the Gentiles brought him out, and the Gentiles brought him back in, so then he can continue. It says if he never left it, he could walk anywhere within the tchum and within the city. However, if either he left on his own or he came back on his own, so then he would not be allowed to walk more than 4 amas. I hope you enjoyed Daf Mem Aleph. Peace out.